I don't know what happened, but it stopped. Now we're back up. So, okay. 5 main habits of a narcissist. Actually, there's 6. Has a grandiose sense of self-importance. Oh, yes, he did. Oh, yes, he does. Lives in a fantasy world that supports their delusions of grandeur. Absolutely. Absolutely. Needs constant praise and admiration. Yeah, he does. Sense of entitlement. Oh my God. Exploits others without guilt or shame. Prostituted me. He had no shame. He was not ashamed of himself for doing that. He had none. None. He had nothing. Nothing. Exploits others without guilt or shame. Absolutely. Let's see, what else? Frequently demeans, intimidates, bullies, belittles others. Abso-fucking-lutely. That's all he did. That's all he did. Grandiosity is the defining characteristic of a narcissist. More than just arrogance and vanity, grandiosity is an unrealistic sense of superiority. Narcissists believe they are unique or special and can only be understood by other special people. What's more, they are too good for anything average or ordinary. They only want to associate or be associated with other high-status people, places, and things. Also believe they're better than anyone else. Live in a fantasy world that supports their delusions of grandeur? Absolutely. They spin self-glorifying fantasies of unlimited success, power, brilliance, attractiveness, and ideal love that make them feel special and in control. These fantasies protect them from feelings of inner emptiness and shame. Needs constant praise and admiration. Narcissist's sense of superiority is like a balloon that gradually loses air without a steady stream of applause and recognition to keep it inflated. Therefore, that is why, after less than 2 years of being single and on the verge of going to jail, he decides he needs to marry someone. So he marries. So he can get constant, and he probably marries someone that gives him constant praise and admiration, because she's too stupid to see what he is. Sense of entitlement. Oh, absolutely. He's entitled to anything and everything he can have. So he was entitled. He was entitled to turn me into a prostitute. That entitled him because he owned me. Exploits others without guilt or shame. Absolutely. Turned me into a prostitute. He never had any empathy. Never felt bad about what he was doing to me. frequently demeans, intimidates, bullies, belittles others. That's all he did to our children. That's all he did. He would bully Bo and Keith and Tara. Oh, I wish I had seen it earlier. There are different types of narcissists. Adaptive narcissism is when a person with this disorder leans into positive traits such as self-sufficiency and confidence that can actually be healthy. They may help someone set high ambitions at work, for example, or enjoy satisfying relationships without being overdependent on a partner. Maladaptive narcissism is characteristic by the toxic traits such as sense of entitlement, willingness to exploit others, and the grandiose narcissism, covert, vulnerable narcissism, communal narcissism, let's go back here. Let's look at the covert, vulnerable. It's common to imagine all narcissists as dominant, overwhelming in social situations. However, covert narcissists are introverted. That might be me. They tend to be extremely sensitive to criticism and suffer from low self-esteem. They can be defensive and passive-aggressive, but they are less likely to overestimate their emotional abilities than overt narcissists. Yeah, I'm a vulnerable narcissist, but I don't like it. I want to get rid of it, and that's what I'm working at, because I don't want that trait to be in me anymore. I don't like it. It's not right. It's not fair to me or the people that I love. Communal narcissists tend to view themselves as altruistic and claim to care deeply about fairness. They present themselves to others as supportive and selfless. However, their behavior is motivated by a desire for social power and sense of superiority or entitlement. Because of this, their actions don't always match their beliefs, and that's definitely Martin, a part of him. Antagonistic. In contrast with communal, antagonistic narcissists take a highly competitive approach to social interaction. They often exhibit zero-sum thinking, believing that every situation has a loser and a winner. This view of the world leads them to be aggressive and hostile. They may be quick to disparage others and slow or unwilling to forgive. I think that's my son. I really do. Okay, let's look at malignant narcissism. Can be a more destructive form of the personality disorder. In addition to the typical signs of narcissism, the malignant narcissist might be aggressive, paranoid, sadistic, taking joy in other people's pains. They tend to display antisocial behavior, disregarding the rights and safety of others. I don't know many of those. Tips with dealing with them. While the narcissists in your life may be very reluctant to change, there are ways to cope with their manipulative, damaging behavior. Protect yourself and find emotional fulfillment. Don't fall for the fantasy is tip number 1. Narcissists can be very magnetic and charming. They're very good at creating a fantastical, flattering self-image that draws us in. We're attracted to their apparent confidence and lofty dreams. I fell for the fantasy. And the shakier of our own self-esteem, the more seductive the allure. It's true. It's easy to get caught up in their web, thinking that they will fulfill our longing to feel more important, more alive. It's just a fantasy, and a costly one at that. Your needs won't be fulfilled or even recognized. Absolutely true. Mine weren't. In 38 years, look at the way the narcissist treats others. If the narcissist lies, manipulates, hurts, and disrespects others, he will treat you the same way. Don't fall for the fantasy that you're different and will be spared. Take off those rose-colored glasses. Take them off. You're not going to get anywhere with them. Okay? Now, if you need to wear glasses, wear glasses. But if they're rose-colored, take them off. It's important to see the narcissist in your life for who they really are, not who you want them to be. Stop making excuses for bad behavior and minimizing the hurt it's causing you. Focus on your own dreams. I tried that. I really did. And I got lost in his narcissism, for lack of a better explanation. That's what happened. Set healthy boundaries for the narcissist. Healthy relationships are based on mutual respect and caring. But narcissists aren't capable of true reciprocity in their relationships. It isn't just that they're not willing. They truly aren't able. They don't see you. They don't hear you. They don't recognize you as someone who exists out of their own needs. Because of this, narcissists regularly violate the boundaries of others. Narcissists think nothing of going through or borrowing your possessions without thinking. My son, he does that. He doesn't ask. He just, if it's in a drawer, he uses it. He thinks it's all his. He doesn't ask. They think of nothing going through your and borrowing your possessions, eavesdropping on conversations, barging in without an invitation, stealing your ideas, and giving you unwanted opinions and advice. That's what my son does all the time, and I know he's trying to help me become a better person, but right now I think I'm pretty good. So we have to keep those boundaries going. Make a plan. If you have a long-standing pattern of letting others violate your boundary, it's not easy to take back control, but you need to set yourself up for success by carefully considering your goals and the potential obstacles. What are the most important changes you hope to achieve? Consider a gentle approach. I've tried. If preserving your relationship with the narcissist is important to you, you will have to tread softly. If you don't care, Katie, bar the door. Let them have it, both barrels. Put a stop to it. Don't set a boundary unless you're willing to keep it. Be prepared for other changes in the relationship. Don't take things personally. That's a problem that I have. I tend to take everything personally. I don't know why. I've always been that way. I've always taken things personally. Always been sensitive. People don't like it. But personally, I don't give a fuck. If they don't like who I am, bye-bye. Get out of my life. Because I don't need you, especially if you're a narcissist. Don't buy into the narcissist version of who you are. Narcissists don't live in reality. That's true. And that includes their views of other people. Don't let their shame and blame game undermine your self-esteem. Refuse to accept undeserved responsibility, blame, or criticism. That negativity is the narcissist's to keep. That's his negativity, not yours, not mine. Don't argue with a narcissist because you can't. You can't argue with a narcissist because they're always right. And this is a problem that I had. Because when you're attacked by a narcissist, the natural instinct is to defend yourself. And I would always be accused of defending Margaret. Why are you defending Margaret? Well, because you're accusing me of something that I don't need to defend myself, but I feel like I have to. No matter how rational you are or how sound your argument, they are unlikely to hear you. Arguing the point may escalate the situation in a very unpleasant way. Don't waste your breath. Simply tell the narcissist you disagree with their assessment and move on. That's what I tried to do, but he tried then to kill me. So here we are. Know yourself. The best defense against the insults and projections of the narcissist is a strong sense of self. When you know your own strengths and weaknesses, it's easier to reject any unfair criticism leveled against you. And that's what was difficult for me, that I could not argue with him because I'd say in the last 20 years, I didn't know myself. I didn't know who I was. I was who he wanted me to be. So I had no defense against a narcissist because I didn't know myself. Let go of the need for approval. Absolutely. You don't need anybody's approval but your own. So don't try to accept approval from anybody but yourself. You're only good enough for you, okay? You don't need to be good enough for somebody else. They need to be good enough for themselves. And then they can be good enough for you. Look for support and purpose elsewhere. If you're going to stay in a relationship with a narcissist, be honest with yourself about what you can and can't expect. A narcissist isn't going to change into someone who truly values you. You'll need to look elsewhere for that. So in other words, get rid of the narcissist. Get out of that relationship. You don't deserve it. If you're in a relationship with a narcissist, you got to get out of it. That narcissist is going to do nothing to help you. Learn what a healthy relationship looks like. If you come from a narcissistic family, you may not have a very good sense of what a healthy give and take relationship is. I didn't. I really didn't. I thought I did. And so that's what I was trying to create in my marriage, in my life with him. was a healthy relationship, but it didn't work. Because in a healthy relationship, you have to give and take. You have to share. You have to negotiate. And he didn't negotiate. I was the one that had to always negotiate. Spend time with people who give you an honest reflection of who you are. And that's one thing that I had difficulty with, because the only friends I had, or people that I was around, were coworkers. I didn't have any friends. When I lived in Maryland, I didn't have any friends that I didn't work with. Make friendships outside the narcissist's orbit. Well, how can you? A narcissist is not going to allow you to do that, to have friends that aren't like them, that aren't narcissists themselves. So you would need to cultivate new relationships and get rid of the narcissist. You have to. You have to get rid of him. It's not healthy to be with that person forever. I know I dreamed that we would have a good life together, get into our golden years that we are of retirement age, and sit on the front porch and watch the neighborhood and watch the kids and grandkids and animals. But we can't have that when you have a spouse that's a narcissist. It's just not going to work. Look for meaning and purpose in work and volunteering and hobbies. Instead of looking to the narcissist to feel good about yourself, pursue meaningful activities. And that's a good thing to do too. And that will help you. How to leave a narcissist. Just do it. Ending an abusive relationship is never easy. It really isn't. Even though I said just do it, it isn't easy. It took me 38 years to get out of it because of the threats that he made on me. Ending an abusive relationship is never easy. Ending one with a narcissist can be especially difficult, as they can be so charming and charismatic, at least at the start of the relationship, or if you threaten to leave. I threatened to leave several times, and I got threats each time. The first time I threatened to leave was when we lived in, was that Royal Oak? Yeah. I told him he ever locked me out of the house again, that I would stay out forever and I would take the kids with me. He threatened me. He said if I ever tried to do that, that he would take the kids. He would see to it that I never saw Tara. He would tell them how neglectful I was, and I would never see Tara again. Tara would go to Tammy and Junior forever. And he would see to it that he got custody of Bo. and I'd never see Keith or Bo again. So I was threatened. So I stayed. Every time I threatened to leave, he would threaten to take the kids away from me. I could not have my children taken away from me. Granted, I wasn't the best parent. I admit to that. But I did the very, very best I could with the treatment that I received. I know it wasn't right. I neglected my kids. I neglected Tara. I neglected Keith and Bo. I let Martin do all the disciplining. I let Martin make all the choices. And I agreed with whatever he said. That was my fault. So it can it's easy to become disoriented by the narcissist's manipulative behavior, caught up in the need to seek their approval, damn straight, or even to feel gaslighted. Doubt your own judgment. If you're codependent, your desire to be loyal may trump even your need to preserve your safety and sense of self. Absolutely. But it's important to remember that no one deserves to be bullied, threatened, or verbally, emotionally abused in a relationship. There are ways to escape a narcissist, and the guilt and self-blame, and begin the process of healing. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's hard to do it, but you can do it. I did it. We got into a big fight. He tried to strangle me, tried to kill me, to the point that I passed out. If my mother had not yelled, "Stop acting like children," he probably would not have let go, and I would have died. But I didn't. He let go, and I ran. Educate yourself about narcissistic personality disorder. The more you understand, the better you're able to recognize the techniques that narcissists may use to keep you in a relationship. And I'm learning about all this. I will never, ever get into another relationship with a narcissist. Never will probably get into another relationship because I've had enough. When you're threatened to leave, a narcissist will often resurrect the flattery and adoration, love bombing that caused you to be interested in them in the first place. Or they'll make grand promises about changing their behavior. Yeah, I heard that one. That they have no intention of keeping. Write down the reasons why you're leaving. Be clear on why you need to end the relationship. Can help prevent you from being sucked back in. Absolutely. He has yet to suck me back in, and he never will. Keep your list somewhere handy. It's right here, such as on your phone. Refer to it when you're starting to have self-doubts or the narcissist is laying on the charm. Seek support. Always seek support, because you cannot do this alone. You must have support of family, friends, therapists, anybody that can talk to. Domestic violence, helplines, shelters. Don't make empty threats. If you say you're going to leave, leave. Seek immediate help if you're physically threatened or abused. Call 911, had the police there within 5 minutes. Hello?